Title: She Betrayed. I started divorce proceedings, and then she tried. Received numerous voicemails, emails, and even handwritten letters expressing deep remorse for her actions, but I chose not to respond at all. Hi everybody! I'm leading a goal of 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I truly believe we can achieve it together. So if you could hit that subscribe button, it would really mean a lot to me. Now, let's dive into the story. My wife, 44, cheated on me, a 45-year-old man. When I discovered her infidelity, I filed for divorce, and she attempted to end her life on New Year's Eve. It was something she couldn't cope with. He begins by saying, "Where do I even start?" My soon-to-be ex-wife and I were together for over 25 years, married for 22 of those years. Before this, there were no signs of infidelity or major issues. We have 4 children, twins, a boy and a girl, aged 20, a 19-year-old son, and our youngest daughter, who is 15. I filed for divorce in mid-December and had her move out of our home to live with her parents. I received a flood of messages, from voicemails to emails, and even letters she wrote by hand, all filled with apologies for what she had done, but I chose not to engage with any of them. When she finally realized that I was serious about going through with the divorce and that nothing she could do would change my mind, she attempted to take her own life. If it weren't for her parents, who were keeping a close eye on her, she likely wouldn't have survived. From what I've been told, she tried to overdose on pills, but no one knows where she got them. Her affair became fully physical only recently, in late November or early December, but before that, she had been emotionally cheating for at least a few months. I don't care to know how long it had been going on, as it wouldn't help me at all. Since it was a married man she was involved with, I informed his wife. Consequently, he's also getting divorced. To make matters worse, they were co-workers, which is how they met in the first place, and I assume they used work hours to start the affair. For those wondering how I found out, the answer is I didn't. It was our son and daughter, the twins, who did. They saw their mother kissing another man in public, a place none of us usually frequent, and then they came to tell me. I salute those kids. I started investigating and found more than enough evidence of a prolonged affair. I don't have many deal breakers, and I believe that marriage is something that requires continuous effort to keep it alive, but cheating is something I absolutely cannot overlook or forgive. Cheating is like throwing away all the time you've spent together, destroying the life you've built together out of sheer selfishness and cruelty. I'm sharing this so you can understand me better, perhaps, but even that's a stretch. Maybe I could have considered moving past this if it had been a one-time mistake and she had immediately confessed and shown genuine remorse, but she didn't. She only started crying and begging for forgiveness after she got caught, and that to me is utterly worthless. It's easy to shed tears once your wrongdoings are exposed, but before all this, I never noticed any signs of remorse or guilt from her. I just can't live with someone like that. Fortunately, all of our children supported and understood my decision to divorce their mother. Our youngest cried more than I did but told me I was doing the right thing for all of us. She asked if she could live with me. The other 3 had already moved out by their own choice, and I assured her she didn't even need to ask. The best part of this whole situation is having the kids stand by me, reminding me that not all those years spent with my wife were a waste. Whatever she is now, I can still be grateful for our children if nothing else. I love them more than anything. Sadly, nearly everyone we know, including friends who were originally mine before becoming family friends, is trying to convince me to stop the divorce, urging me to go to counseling or do something else to save the marriage, especially after her suicide attempt. Wow, so she does that, and suddenly everyone feels sorry for her, and I become the villain? Needless to say, all those people are now on my bad side, and I've cut off all communication with them. Unfortunately, that includes my in-laws, who I had genuinely loved before all this happened, as I'm an orphan and had seen them as the family I never had. They've tried to reach out to me through their grandchildren, which has soured the kids on visiting their grandparents anytime soon. The kids tell me they love their grandparents but can't handle how overbearing they've become. I'm in therapy myself, going through counseling because despite everything that's happened, I feel nothing. Looking back at how I found out about this, there's a complete lack of rage or hurt, which my therapist finds concerning. They say I've likely numbed myself as a coping mechanism to get through this, but I'm not sure. If anyone had asked me before all this how I felt about my marriage and wife, I would have told them with a big smile that I was as happy as could be. Now I feel nothing. When I heard about her suicide attempt, it was like being told the weather forecast. I didn't feel a thing, not personally, at least. I was angry at how this could have affected our children, but beyond that, her attempt didn't provoke any reaction from me. I'm not happy that she's realized how much she's wrecked our lives, but I'm not feeling any empathy either. I can't. I just look at the situation and think, yes, and how does this concern me? I don't think I was like this before all this happened, and my therapist assures me the numbness will pass as part of the healing process, but here we are, more than a month later, and I still feel nothing about what happened. I'm honestly unsure if that's a good or bad thing, but I suppose I'll just have to wait and see. The friends who have stayed true to me aren't letting me spend too much time alone. They understand that I need some time to myself now and then, but they don't want me to isolate completely. Everything feels so different now. My main concern at this point is our children. For now, they've chosen to stay away from their mother of their own accord. I haven't poisoned them against her or anything like that, they simply don't want to talk to her much. Our youngest has been hit the hardest by her mother's betrayal, and I'm considering getting her some therapy if we can't resolve this on our own. What really bothers me about this whole situation is how deeply our children were affected by their mother's infidelity. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't somewhat glad that they reacted negatively because it shows they understand that adultery is no small matter and that it can, as it has for us, destroy marriages and families. But I'm worried about the long-term effects. Will they get over this? Will they eventually rebuild a meaningful relationship with their mother? Will they heal? If any of you have been in a similar situation, please share your experiences. To sum everything up, my wife cheated, I filed for divorce, she tried to take her own life, and our children have been deeply affected by all this, but they've supported me all the way. What can I do to make this easier for them? What can I do to help them heal? Let me share my thoughts. Do you all remember the story from earlier this year about the older gentleman, around 55 years old, who had been married for a long time? His kids knew about their mother's affair but never told him and he felt utterly betrayed. He ended up taking a trip alone, needing some space to process everything. This story reminded me of that, but here, the kids did the opposite. They immediately told their father what they saw, and I salute them for that. Before being caught, she felt no guilt or remorse, life was perfect for her. But once everything came to light, she was suddenly full of apologies, even trying to take her own life when she realized she was losing everything. It's clear that her affair was about satisfying her own desires, and now she's facing the consequences. She should suffer the consequences in real life, living on her own and dealing with the reality of what she's done. The kids may always love their mom, but things will never be the same. She's made her bed and now she must lie in it. Kudos to you for reacting quickly and filing for divorce. You didn't waver even when she attempted suicide. You're handling this with strength, and I'm glad the kids are on your side. Let's check out some comments. Someone advised, have an honest conversation with your kids, sit them down one by one if needed, and make sure they're handling this okay. Let them know nothing they say will hurt your feelings, but you want to ensure they're alright. I agree with that. Your kids are old enough to understand what's going on, so approach this as you would with any adult. If they need additional support, consider professional help. It sounds like they've been honest about their feelings so far, which is a good sign. Another commenter said, good on you for not going back to her. No contact is the way to go. She's obviously hurting, and that may have turned her into an attention seeker. But your mental health is just as important, so don't let yourself or your kids be dragged back into an unhealthy situation. That's absolutely right. She might be trying to manipulate the situation to get things back to normal, just to do it all over again. The original poster responded, we've had a few one-on-one conversations, especially when it seemed like they had a lot on their minds. But I sense they're being cautious, maybe expecting me to break down at any moment since I haven't shown much emotion. But I'll see about talking to them again soon. They've been around more often since this all happened, and I might ask if they'd feel more comfortable talking with a professional. As for their mother, I have no plans to get in touch with her. My therapist hinted that if she sought therapy, I might be asked to join, but I don't think I could or even want to do that. Her mental health is not my concern unless it negatively affects our children. Another commenter pointed out, will they get over this? Will they eventually form a tangible relationship with their mother? Will they heal? The response was, both the infidelity and her suicide attempt are rejections of the life she built with her family. Often, the latter is more profound, and it's not uncommon for kids to never reconnect with a parent who cheats and then tries to take their own life. How your kids react will depend on their individual personalities and the relationship they had with her before. The original poster added, I'm more worried about the hatred they might feel because it's an attachment of sorts, keeping them connected to her in a negative way. I want our home to be as calm and happy as possible, filled with light and beauty. We managed to do that together for Christmas. It was a time we always spent at home with family and friends. My friends came over with their families, filling the house with noise and cheer, which the kids loved. I think they even reconnected with some childhood friends. A few of my friends' kids are the same age as the twins, and we've known each other for a long time. From the sounds of it, both the original poster and the kids are doing okay. There haven't been any updates since the post was made, but I hope they're all doing well, and I hope she hasn't tried to harm herself again. She needs to face the consequences of her actions and live with the reality she created. Let me know what you think about this story in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.